Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear students, in ninth chapter, that is Business Communication Skills of Secretary, today we are going to see what is business letter. See here, now when we are talking about business letter is written by secretary. Secretary we have seen in chapter number 1. The main work of secretary is doing correspondence, that is written communication. So in this today's topic we are going to study the same. See, roles of secretary in business communication. What role secretary plays? Now see here, secretary is to communicate with a lot of members, that is directors, officers, employees, outsiders, authorities, etc. Secretary has to communicate with a lot of members. Okay, members can be the directors, the officers, the employees, or the outsiders, suppliers, authorities like government, etc. So now secretary has to handle correspondence, return communication. Secretary has to draft notices, reports, minutes, etc. Now notices, reports and minutes we are going to study in coming lecture. So this is just a brief introduction to the today's topic, that secretary is supposed to communicate with different members in the company and outside the company. Now see here, what is business letter? What actually business letter is and how it is written, how secretary corresponds, how secretary writes the letter. Okay, now see, business letter is nothing but written communication, right? It's a written communication which is written by secretary. Now a good letter writing is important for maintaining the image of the business. See, it is clearly said in the topic that a good letter, if a letter is presented properly, written it in a proper manner with the best writing skills, this letter creates a very good impression on the reader, the person who's reading the letter. So business letter is nothing but a written communication which is written by secretary, and a good letter creates a very good image of the business. Now see, business letter, how one will define business letter. See, Brenner defines business letter as business correspondence is a message. Business correspondence written communication. So yes, business written communication is a message that attempts to influence its recipient. You try to influence the recipient to make some action or attitude desired by the sender. You write a letter in a manner that the other person will respond to your message. Now see, what are the reasons for writing the letter? A person can write letter for inquiry, that is to ask for information, to request, that is to ask someone to do something, or an apology letter, or maybe a complaint letter. So these are the few reasons why a person writes letter to the company, and then company gets done the business correspondence, that is written communication. Company replies to the letter. Now see, thus business letters are written with the objective of not only understanding the contents but also to take appropriate action or decision. Now here, business correspondence is done not only to make the other person understand but wants the other person to take decision or to take appropriate action. Now see, layout of business letter, how a business letter is written. See, layout of a business letter is also called the structural design of letter, how you present a letter. Okay, you must have written informal and formal letters in your school, right? Informal letters and formal letters. So yeah, business letter is a kind of formal letter. Now see, proper arrangement of various parts of a letter is very important. Then internal arrangement of matter in a proper way is also very important. Now see, a letter is divided into 11 parts. Each of them we are going to see now. See, this is the actual layout of business letter. Heading, then name and address of the company, CIN number. corporate identification number. Then you have got to the right hand side, you have got telephone, fax, reference number. To the left hand side, you have got email, website and date. So now see, pay attention to this. To the center, you have got name and address of the company along with CIN number. To the right hand side, you have got email, website and date. To the left hand side, you have got phone, fax number and then you have got reference number. See, this is how I'm going to tell you the moment we further move ahead with the letter chapter, that is chapter number 10. So pay attention to this. Then you have got inside address, that is known as receiver's address, to whom you are sending the letter. Fifth comes the main part of the letter is subject. On which topic you are going to write the letter, the subject will include that. Then you have got salutation. Below that you have got body of letter. Now what is the main content in the letter? You are going with the introduction part. Then you have got main paragraph and then you have got concluding paragraph. This all we are going to see in detail. Coming to the end, you have got complimentary clause. You have got signature. To the right hand side, you have got enclosure and then CC. CC stands for carbon copy. Okay, so this is how your letter will look like. Now we are going to see each part in detail. See, the very first one is heading, which is written in the top center of the paper. See, you can see here, which is written in the top, on the top and at the center of the paper. See, meaning. Meaning contains the name, address, telephone number, fax number, email ID, website, CIN of the company, etc. Heading means it contains the name of the company, address of the company, telephone number, fax number, email ID, website, CIN number of the company. See, it is that part of business letter which introduces the sender to the receiver. Introduces the sender to the receiver, that means who's writing the letter. So now if company is writing letter to me, the moment I'm going to hold the letter, I will come to know who is writing the letter. Okay, so now the letter introduces me with the sender. Usually printed letterheads are used. Now see, you must have seen printed letterheads. What are letterheads? See, a simple example I'll give you. The moment you try to go to a doctor and you ask for a medical certificate, you must, if XYZ person is absent and asks for a medical certificate, you must have seen on this certificate on the top the name and the degrees and the registered address of that clinic or that doctor or hospital is written on the center, and then below the doctor writes whatever the reason, so and so person was absent, and then signature is done. So yes, that blank paper with the name of the doctor, the address and the degree is nothing but a written printed letterheads on which the doctor writes letter. Okay, so now see here, it's a short example for Tata Motors Limited. As we say, the name, address, telephone number would be included. See, Tata Motors Limited. Now coming to the address, 17C SB Road, MIDC, Pune. Below that in the center you will have CIN number, corporate identification number. Now to the right hand side you have got email and website. To the left hand side you have got telephone number and then you have got fax number. So now here in this you try to give all the information about the company, the name, address, its telephone number, fax number, email and website. So now this letter with this point number 1 will introduce the sender to the receiver. See here, a sample is given, right? This is how it's presented in the center. Then you have got date. Most important part in the letter is date. See, date is written on the right hand side of the letter just below the heading. Now let's take a recap. Here see, just below the heading, your point number 1, point number 2 here is written on the right hand side, right? Now see, Date is written on the right hand side of the letter just below the heading. Date includes date, month and year on which the letter is typed. The day you are going to write the letter, the date will be of that day only. Letters without date are incomplete. If a letter is sent without date, the letter would be considered as an incomplete letter. Now see, date plays a very important role. Date is very important as letter acts as a legal evidence. It's kind of legal evidence that on so and so date company has sent a letter. It acts as a legal evidence. Now see, example, there are two types. One is British style and the second one is American style. In British style, date, month and year is written, and in American style, month, date and then year is written. Coming to the third part is reference number. Now see, it's written on the left hand side below the heading. Again, let's have a recap. See here, it's written below the heading, right, and to the left hand side, reference number. Now we are going to see what reference number is. See here, it's written on the left hand side below the heading. A reference number is given to have a quick reference to the matter concerned. To refer means to, have a shortcut for the same, I would say. See, reference number is a number or word used by the letter writer. Reference number is written for the convenience purpose. It is easy to take out or to check which letter you are searching for. Every outgoing letter is given reference number. Now see, just an example, 91P 2019. Here 91 stands for serial number of the letter. That is, this is the 91th letter. P stands for purchase department and 2019 stands for year. If a secretary gives a reference number as 91/P/2019, that means secretary is writing this letter at 91 number, that is a serial number. P stands for purchase department and 2019 stands for that particular year. Okay. Now coming to the fourth point as inside address. Inside address is considered as receiver's address, to whom you are writing the letter. It contains name, address of the receiver of the letter. It is written on the left hand side of the letter below reference number. Okay. For personal name, Mr., Shri, Mrs. or Shrimant are used, but for firms, Mrs. is used. See, Messer, MESSER is used for any of the corporations. Now see, both the examples are given. Mrs. Pallavi Pathare, 18A, Ganesh Complex, MG Road, Ratnagiri, and the pin code number. And if you are writing to any of the corporations, it will stand as Mrs. Jagannath Trading Company. Mrs. stands for company or any corporation. Market Yard, Sangli, 416436, that is the pin code number. So this is how you are going to write the inside address, that is receiver's address. After that, you have got subject. For what reason you are writing the letter? See, it is written in brief, in short, as SUB, subject dot. It shows the purpose of the letter. The reader gets the idea of the matter of the letter without reading the letter completely. Okay. Once you read the subject, you come to know what will be the below content be related about, or which topic the letter will be there in the discussion. Okay. It helps to send it to concerned section or department, and quick filing is possible. Now see, example, opening a current account. If you are sending a letter to the bank and if you are writing a subject as opening a current account, bank will come to know the below details would be given for opening a current account. So yes, that letter would be directly given to the concerned authority who's there to open current accounts. After subject, you have got salutation. Salutation means greetings. Salutation is a greeting from the writer to the reader. If I'm writing a letter and I'm writing a salutation, that means I'm trying to greet the person to whom I'm sending the letter. It creates favorable impression on the reader's mind. It creates a very good impact. Now see, it appears on the left hand margin, just after the margin line below the inside address. Dear sir or madam, or I can say respected sir or madam. This is nothing but the salutation you give in a letter. After that, the seventh part, the big part of the letter, is the body of the letter. See, it is the most important part of the business letter. It contains actual message for receiver of the letter. The message should be divided into paragraphs. Now there should be minimum three paragraphs. Now see here, if this is just a short example of a letter. Now you see what is the body part. See, dear President Obama, this is the salutation. Below salutation you can see paragraphs, right? There are 2 paragraphs. So this is the main body of the letter. See, the body of the letter is the information you are writing in your letter. The body is made up of paragraphs. You must have at least 1 paragraph, but you may have more. You may have 1, 2 or 3, but you must have 1 paragraph. Now see, the very first paragraph, it introduces the subject or matter. You try to introduce the other person, what you are going to say in the coming paragraphs. It should be brief, it should be in short, but it should be very effective. It should create interest in the mind of reader to go through the contents of the letter. You should write in such an interesting and effective manner that the person should go on reading below the first paragraph. Now see, now coming to the second paragraph, it contains the main message of the letter. It contains the main message. It is the heart of the letter. See, this question can be asked in the objective types questions. Second paragraph is considered as the heart of the letter. Simple language, clarity and correctness should be reflected in the message. Brevity is the soul of the letter. Now here, simple language and clarity should be there. The letter should be written in such a language or in such a manner that the other person should not find it difficult to read. Coming to the closing paragraph, it is the concluding paragraph. You try to end the topic, you try to conclude the topic. Now it should be written carefully so that the desired action be taken by the receiver of the letter. The concluding part always contains the message which says that the other person should take the decision on the letter. Coming to the 8th one as complimentary clause. This is concluding part of the letter. It is written below the body of the letter and that is on the right hand side. It shows polite end of the letter. When you write yours faithfully, this is nothing but a complimentary clause where you indirectly say that you are closing the letter. Now comes the part as signature. It is the final part of the letter. The authorized person signs below the complimentary clause. A letter without signature is incomplete and invalid. Again, an objective type question can be asked. A letter without signature is incomplete and invalid. Below the signature, the name of the person and his or her designation is written. Designation means if you are a secretary, secretary would be written. If it's board of director, BOD would be written. Okay. The person who signs is responsible for the matter written in the letter. Whosoever signs the letter, it means that the above letter is written by that person and that person is responsible. See, it is written in this manner: signature, name, and below that the designation would be written. Then you have got enclosure. Enclosure means what you are enclosing with this letter, enclosing, attaching with this letter. See, it includes documents, check, etc., which are attached with the letter. It is shown by the word ENCL, that is a short form for enclosure, which is written on the left hand side. If documents are more than one, It should be numbered and attached serially. It helps the receiver to check the documents. The moment you write enclosure below the letter, it means that along with that letter there are other documents. Now example for enclosure is copy of board resolution and specimen signature of 2 directors, or you can write if the check is there or any other document is there. Coming to the last part of the letter is the carbon copy notation. Notation is trying to notify, is trying to inform. Now the short form for carbon copy is CC. See, the copy of the letter is to be sent to the other person at the same time. It is shown by 2 alphabets CC. If the same letter you are trying to send to some other person also, you try to intimate, you try to inform the one person that the same letter is what we are going to send to the other person also. It is written below enclosure on the left hand side. See, it indicates that a copy of the letter has been sent to the person who has been named. If I say example CC Mary Anderson, that means whichever letter I have sent to you is the same letter I'm going to send it to Mary Anderson and Kelly Clarkson. That is CC, that is I'm trying to copy the same letter to the other 2 persons also. Okay, now this is what we have come to the end of the topic, and this is the performer, or I can say the specimen for how you are going to write the letter. That's all for today class. Thank you.